exciting things. Welcome to the webinar organized as a part of European project RestartSMEs by the project partner Engineering and Technology Industry Association of Lithuania, Limpra, in collaboration with Eurecat. So we do have two partners coming from Spain and from Lithuania, from completely different areas of Europe, and it's nice that RestartSMEs project unites us here. My name is Orijana Mašalė. I will be a moderator of today's event, and I would be very happy and I would appreciate if you could turn your cameras on for a moment, just to meet each other at least on the screen, to see people coming from different countries. I saw in registration form when we do have people coming from Spain, Portugal, Sweden, Belgium, and Lithuania, so quite a variety. So it's good to see people from different countries interested in those things. So thank you, Paulus. Thank you, Egle, for making you visible. It's really nice to see you here. So manufacturing SMEs were invited to this international workshop to discuss technological challenges and solutions in the field of supply chain. But as I see from the list of participants, not only manufacturing SMEs joined us today, we have a big variety of professionals coming from different sectors, and that's probably pretty normal. Usually you could get really good insights that when you listen to people coming from completely different areas than the one you work from. So thank you for dedicating your time. Today we will have three speakers, and first of all, we will have Karolis Kebas, who is Limpra Export Development Manager, and Karolis will speak about RestartSMEs project and how all of you could gain from it. Then we do have Santi Fort Fernandez, who comes from Eurecat, and he is Training Department Director. And Santi will make a short introduction about Eurecat. And I also see that Laia Garriga Mas, our keynote speaker, joined us recently. So probably you will share your insights maybe together, and you will discuss how to make this presentation in the best way. So Laia is our keynote speaker today. She is Business Development Manager for Rail Industry and Logistics at Eurecat Technology Center and Vice President of a Railgrup Cluster. And Laia has developed her professional career always linking to value-added technologies and having business development in different industrial fields, health and insurance sector. And I believe that Laia's experience will be very useful. I did have a chance to see Laia's presentation. Believe me, it's going to be really interesting. Many case studies, many insights, many special words that we have in our jobs at the moment. So Laia will really get into detail, and she will explain many interesting things for us. And the third part of the event is going to be dedicated to discussion between all of us. I believe that the best value of webinars is when you not only listen, but when you share your experience and when you provoke each other and when you make new contacts. So I hope that this time you will be a very active audience and we will have interesting and fruitful discussions. Before giving the floor to Karolis, Santi, Laia, so some technical details. First of all, no need to make print screens, no need to make notes, as presentations will be distributed to you after the event. So just sit down, enjoy, listen carefully, think about some new ideas that come into your mind, and later on you will have a chance to get back to presentations. While presentations, you may write down your questions in the chat box, pretty common thing already. But after the presentations, you are more than welcome to turn on your camera, your microphone, and to ask questions and to participate in discussion. So that's it from my side. And now the floor goes to Karolis, and Karolis will make the first introduction.
Thank you, Orijana. Let me first of all share my slides.
Now it's going to be this funny part. Do you see? Do you hear it? Yes, we do see it.
Great, and I guess that you hear.
Yeah. Yes, and we do hear you. And if you could make, like the big screen, not slides. So yes, that's great. Thank you, Karolis.
So thank you, Orijana, for introduction. Welcome everyone to this workshop about digitalization of the supply chain. And first of all, will be my short presentation about Restart SMEs project, and the reason why we all here is this project actually. And let me represent the Restart SMEs project. What is going on at the moment, and what is the project, and what about it is. So what is Restart SMEs? So first of all, Restart SMEs is the initiative promoted by the European Commission to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic and this economic downturn. So in other words, we're living in a chaos time, you know, and raw material prices is growing up. Some companies facing problems with supply chain. They have gaps or deficits in the market. And resilience of the manufacturing SME companies is really important for our global world and for the market. And on the top at the moment, we have a house in the Eastern Europe region, and despite the war, we are facing more and more problems, and especially manufacturing business. So one of the goals of this project is not only to match the companies with providers, but to find challenges and how those challenges could be solved to these companies. Let's talk about ecosystem and what offer Restart SME project. So we offering assessment of digital transformation readiness, customized tailor-made digitalization plan for SMEs in transition. We have projects related to upskilling and reskilling workforce. We organizing also during this project events, matchmaking events between traditional SMEs and the digital transformation providers. Access to new clients markets for technology providers, and companies actually first of all should register into assessment tool. Later on, I will share the link where companies can do it. And also we thriving community of like-minded entrepreneurs and supportive partners. And all the time we are seeking those partners. So how the journey in this project starts? So first of all, company fill the survey of assessment of digital transformation readiness. Later on, after then companies fill this form, they get report about or measurement of the digital level, and some thoughts about where they should take more attention in digital path, where they are great in digital, where are great in digital sphere. And later on, those companies joining the online community, customized technology adoption roadmap, we make it, and then matching with the technological providers during hackathon. So first hackathon gonna be in October in Vilnius. It's gonna be hybrid hackathon, so all technological service and companies which have challenges can participate. It take place in October 19th, 21st. So later on, I will share the link where they can find more information. And after the hackathons, workforce training and upskilling for manufacturing companies. And there will be also business coaching programs, which will be free for our companies. So I encourage you to follow Restart SME, all news, all updates, all activities, and participate in them, register in them, be active, and I guess that you will find technological providers which will be able to to solve your problems and your challenges regarding to digitalization, robotization, ERP systems, and topics related to Industry 4.0 and topics related to Industry 5.0. So here you will be able to follow all news, all activities, all events, and I encourage you to participate, be active, and to be a part of this project, a part of this huge community which cover the whole Europe region, I can say. So thank you for your short time. I ended my introduction about the project, and thank you for your time. And I'm waiting for Laia presentation because, as mentioned at Orijana, it's going to be really very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Karolis. And as you mentioned, so please provide links in our chat that all the participants could, just open it, not forgetting it.
Yeah.
And I would invite everyone to remember October 21st as the date of hackathon, and I hope many of you will participate in it. And now we will move to Spain, and I'm wondering, Santi or Laia, who of you are going to make presentation of Eurecat first?
Santi, whatever.
Laia, you can go
okay.
directly.
I will do it.
Okay, so Laia, so the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, first of all, I guess I should share my presentation. Is that right? Okay.
Yes. If I could do that.
Well, first of all, just to thank the organization. Thank you very much to give me the opportunity to talk to all of you. Hope I will be able to translate or to share with you all my knowledge about sustainable logistics. That it's my main knowledge, and I guess you will enjoy my presentation. Hope so. So I will go through. Here we have it. Tell me when you see the presentation, please.
Yes,
okay.
The presentation is opened.
Okay.
So all we need is just slide format.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you. That's great, Laia. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I would say to everybody that if you want me to stop or you want to do any questions in between the presentation, please do not hesitate to do it. Otherwise, you will have time to ask afterwards. So, but if you want to interrupt me, please do not hesitate to do it. So, well, you already presented me. I'm Laia Garriga, and I used to be a speaker in so many events, speaking about mobility and logistics with the sustainable matter in the center of everything. We collaborate with so many different platforms to improve digitalization of the logistics in order to be more sustainable. So Eurecat is an organization placed basically in Catalonia. We have so many different locations, each one of them with a very strong specialization, and we kind of give some technology knowledge and products and services to a lot of SMEs in Catalonia, and also medium and large companies. We work more or less in 50% of SMEs. We have a turnover in 219, but also in 21. About $50 million, million euros, sorry. And we work between in about 1,700 companies, more or less in a year. We are 650 professionals, having to have more or less women and men. And we have very high level technicians with 21% of PhD. So we have a very, very excellent people working in all technical projects. Well, there are some figures about how many Horizon or European projects we are involved in. and in so many different fields, not only mobility and logistics, but also health, automotive, a lot of different sectors. Okay, which are our main pillars where we work on? We work very strong in industry with very huge knowledge about all kind of materials, metallic, composites, polymers, and so on, and also about the manufacturing processes. We try to go further than what we have today, and we are very strong on that. We also work in functional printing in so many different fields, also in logistics to do tracking of the the containers or trucks or whatever. We do also autonomous, interactive and autonomous robotics, functional textile, chemical technology, and innovation products and technologies and development. Also, we have a very strong pillar in digitalization. We can work in projects with very strongness in IoT, artificial intelligence, big data. We will go through some of this today because we will be focused in digitalization. So we will talk a little bit about this and do some kind of examples, different examples. We work a lot in e-health also, cybersecurity and multimedia technologies. Then we have a third pillar, it's biotechnology. I'm not really very involved in this pillar, so I'm not able to speak a lot about this, but we have a very strong pillar in nutrition and health and in omic science. And then the fourth pillar that we will talk about today also is sustainability, because we work in what we understand about sustainability, like water, air, soil, waste, energy, and batteries, but very strong in environmental impact, but not only thinking about environment like the earth and how to low emissions and so on, but also about people. We have some projects to reinforce, for example, women in transport, to reinforce poor people, for example, in mobility in Sao Paulo. And, we understand the sustainability not only, with environmental impact in the head, but also human, people, and, all kind of resources. So transversal, 100%. We are very result-oriented, and we can work in projects from the diagnosis to the support and the management of change. So all the points that are through project from the beginning to the end, we can be involved in so many different points through all the project. And we are very, very strong, and maybe that's what it's different from other technological centers, that we are very strong in industrial scaling of the projects, not only in the design part, but also try to find the different companies that can reach from the design to industrial to the industrial point of view, to get involved all the industrial partners to have the final product or industrial product. So let's go through the point of my presentation. Now you know a little bit more about Eurecat. The ones that have, the ones to learn more about us, just we can talk later or just have some discussion afterwards. But let's go to the point that we I want to share today. You know, we know that digitalization is being creating, you know, a lot of new sectoral pressures. If we think about logistics, for example, e-commerce is booming and customer expectations are evolving. So we have a lot of pressure from our customers. Also, you know, we have a very high growth of the international freight, and it's increasing. And we, you know, what we think about the future is that will be higher and higher. And we also have, you know, very big new players in the sector, like Amazon or, you know, Airbnb. No new players in all sectors that need logistics are very highly, and that's, you know, that's changing the sector of logistics, inside logistics and outside logistics. And we think we have to think about all these changes in order to, you know, to improve even our logistics and be more efficient. So all these changes are putting on the table 6 challenges for the logistics sector. The people is asking us to be more, you know, more agile. Agility is one of the pains. Flexibility. Our customers are, you know, changing their minds very quickly, so we have to be very, very, very flexible. They asking us personalization. This is all if we put, you know, the customer in the center of our decisions. They are asking us personalization. They ask service innovation, because, you know, we have to change very quickly the packaging, for example, or how we, the time to market. You know, we have to be very fast and very innovative in how we can, you know, put on the table what the customer is asking us. Anticipation and prediction. I know this is a very tough key point, because, you know, how we can anticipate our customer minds sometimes is very difficult, but we have somehow technology that can you know, that can help us to do these kind of exercises and be able to somehow predict their minds a little bit, and how the things can go in the future. And of course, we need to optimize all the supply chain logistics in order to be more efficient, more sustainable, etc., etc. So for us, these are our 6 challenges to go through the next years. Okay, here you have, you know, a mess of all kinds of technology. We are talking a lot about machine learning, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, 3D printing, drone delivery, robotics, blockchain, Internet of Things. You know, those are a lot of, you know, words that are around us, that everybody is speaking about them. But what we think it's all of this are technologies that really they are tools to help us do our processes, products, and whatever more efficient. But they are only tools. If we don't know why we want to use or you know what are our needs, if we don't know where are our goals or our needs, it will be very difficult, you know, to use any of these tools. So first of all, we should do an analysis of our processes, of our products, of our way to do all things in our companies to see if we can use one or more of these tools to help us to do things better. But take in mind, those are only tools. Okay, if we go further a little bit, you can see here, no, digital innovation with a purpose. That's what we were talking about. Creating, the thing is to create integrated systems, no, to foster intermodality. Why? Because it depends on what we want to do. There will be modes that can fit better to our logistics. So here you have, you know, a picture that can tell us a little bit where to put the technology. It depends on which processes we want to improve. But take this as an example, because if we do not go through our specific processes, it is very hard to see which kind of technology we can use, you know, to be better in our processes. But you can pick this picture as a, you know, as an example to, for example, use artificial intelligence or work or blockchain or IoT. It will be, they will be technologies that are in the, you know, in the bottom line. But then if we want to improve our risk management, we can use smart management systems or robotics and automation. I see that I didn't translate this sentence. I am so sorry. Also, but you can understand it's robotics and automation. If we, you know, if we want to go through predictions and fluctuations, we can go through big data, data mining, and IT, OT security. If we go through customer information, we can use smart platforms. If we want to improve documents, documentation, you know, have a platform to have documents, or, you know, in a strong platform, we can use big data or data mining or IT with IT, OT security. We can talk about blockchain, you know, if we want digitalization of the documents, transparency and traceability, we will need blockchain as a you know, base technology. If we want to go through check our assets or infrastructure maintenance, inventory management, or asset tracking, we will use IT, OT, the IoT technology, and you know, with smart management systems and automation and robotics and so on. But take this as an example of which kind of technology we can use in each part of the whole chain, of all the logistic chain. Okay, yes, we know we need to do something because the global sustainability changes of today are a key point of all our lives. We know we have a very huge problem. I don't know about you, but here in Barcelona, this last week has been terrible, very hot, with temperatures that we've never seen in June. So we know we are immersed in a climate change, and we have to do something, you know, to preserve our environment and the earth. And here you have some figures. I guess it's not necessary to go through all of them, because I guess all of us, you know some of these figures. But what I want to tell you is that the logistics and how we move our goods in the whole supply chain is one of the one of the most impacting threats in all this picture. So we have to do something different. We have to use technology, to be more sustainable, and to have our supply chain more sustainable, and improve somehow this kind of figures. For example, you have here more figures about this. The game is changing, and digital innovation dreams. We have to put this digital innovation to be more responsible in all these changes. For example, the logistics sector has an environmental and social responsibility very high, because it's one of the most impacting sectors in GNG emissions. So we have to do something in here for sure. You have some, and somehow digitalization, it will help us to do some changes in this pillar. And also we have to think also that the digitalization has also an environmental and social impact. So we have to balance what we improve from one side, and what we, which is our impact doing digitalization in the left side. So we have to balance both. When we think about sustainable impact, we have to go through all the value chain, and see in each little spot which is our impact in this sustainability. So we have to balance and improve always in both sides, not only in the left side but also in the right side. What else? To be more sustainable in this, digital transition of intermodal chain, we have to go through 3 steps. Even if we think in-house logistics, even if we think in long distance logistics. We have to manage the change towards green digitalization. When we think about digitalize our operations, we have to think in this balance that we talked previously. It's not worth it just to think about low down the emissions, but also we have to think in all the negative impacts, not only in the emissions, but also in about people, and all the negative impacts, also about the mobility, etc. So we have to keep in mind all the chain, all the value chain, not only what we are managing this in that moment. So manage change towards green digitalization, for us it's a main pillar. Also, we have to create digitally enabled and responsible logistic platforms. What does it mean? That means that again, we have to think about all the people that is involved in all the value chain, not only the processes or the money that we gain. The ROI of our improvements, but also all the environment around these platforms. So when we think about digitalize to have multimodal logistics, for example, we need to talk also about all the people that is involved in this transformation. We have to think also about the impact in the mobility of the urban and rural mobility, not only for the people but also for the goods. So we have to think in big, and not only our small problem, but also our impact in all the value chain logistic. And also put the people at the center of the digitalization process. Otherwise, talking about sustainability, it's not fair. So we think those three steps they have to be, in the beginning of all the discussions. And then, if we think in these three steps for sustainable digital transformation of intermodal chains, we will be working at the same time in specifically in three of the ODS of Europe. Of the Europe responsibility, that will be the 7, affordable and clean energy. Also, we will be working in responsible consumption and production, and also we will be strong in action for the climate. So, somehow we will be working not only in these three, but I guess these three are the main ones. Okay, if we go or we talk about how to manage change towards green digitalization. You can see in the figure in the left that obviously industries are in the different stages of the digitalization, and see how low are the logistics. So we have a long way to go. Logistics is one of the sectors that have to work strongly in this improvement, in this digitalization of all the processes to be more sustainable and to be more efficient in all their processes. Even if this is a figure from 2015, believe me, the figure hasn't changed very much. So logistics is maybe because the logistics is a sector that is very atomized. There are the rail in one part, the trucks in another part, the cars in another part, the ships in another part. So, but and they don't talk very much between them. So it's very hard to go through big changes in all the value chain in logistics. But not only if we talk about this long distance logistics, also if we talk about logistics inside the companies. There are a lot of companies that they still work with huge Excels and a lot of processes without any automation of these processes. So we are really in general, maybe there are some companies that are more in front of these changes, but most of them are in a very low level of all these processes. So we have a lot of work in there. And also the question is, if companies are ready for these changes, if they really understand the ROI that they have when they, do some investments to do this kind of changes. A lot of times it's very hard, of course, for SMEs to try to understand where is, the ROI of these investments. But I want to put something on the table. Sometimes it's not only the ROI what we have to think about, it's also about being more sustainable. I don't know if you have heard about one project that is through all Europe that it's called shared value. There are companies that work about, with a mind of shared value. And also you can try to have B Corp, stamp that it's there are companies that work not only for the profit, not only for their own benefit, but also thinking in a social benefit. So, and when we talk about logistics, it's very important this, because sometimes we are thinking in this kind of changes, looking only to have this ROI. And sometimes it's not only about this, it's also thinking about, the benefits that our environment and our people, even if we think in small, we have to go farther than only our own profit. Okay, create digitally enabled responsible logistics platforms can help us, go through this sustainable logistics. And we have some examples of cities that have made, a change in the model of how to do, for example, the last mile delivery, to make the last mile delivery more efficient, and to low, for example, the mobility of the small trucks moving around the city and things like this. For example, we can, I don't know how many time I have left, but I go ahead, okay?
Laia, it's about 20 minutes
left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
okay.
You still have plenty of time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so for example, we can talk about the Chapelle International. This is a project made in Paris. They were trying to. I talk about big projects, but afterwards, as most of you are SMEs, we can go through some other small. We will go through some other examples, that can fit maybe better to your size of companies. Okay, but I want to talk about these big projects because are examples of projects that the city, the logistics sector, the people, the different the different kinds of transports were involved in a huge project to try to change the model of how to distribute the last mile of last mile goods, last mile delivery, in order to be more sustainable, in order to have less vehicles going around the city, and in order to do less emissions, etc. And what they did was to build an external chapelle. It's like a control place made out of the center of the city, where it's a multimodal logistic hub, where all the goods that are coming from the outside are going through this Chapelle International, like rail goods that are coming from rail, also trucks, and several different modes. And then they mutualize all the goods through a digital platform, and they operate or they put all these goods inside the city in a very let's say efficient way, you know, trying to all the little trucks be full of goods and try to go through the best route, you know, best way inside the city, calculating the best way to do, you know, a simple truck, and everything is integrated to be more efficient and to have less vehicles going around the city and so on. So they made a huge effort to integrate all the different parts that are involved in all this, you know, in all this logistic planning, and they were all together working in doing you know, a huge platform, not only physical but also digital, to improve all the last mile delivery, because it was really a mess. If we talk about Barcelona, for example, after this meeting, I have a meeting with the mayor of Barcelona, you know, to kind of think about some projects to improve this last mile delivery, because it has to be improved for sure, because now we have a lot of different modes and trucks, and well, now it's really a mess, and we have to put, you know, some kind of technologies to get more, to be more efficient in this. Otherwise, it's absolutely unsustainable. We've talked about this several times, but let me go again into people at the center of the digitalization process. If we kind of try to change things in our companies and, you know, integrate digital platforms with not having our people involved in these changes, then it's very hard for them to use these platforms to improve their own jobs. So please, when you think about, you know, this kind of changes in the company, you have to have all your people involved in the changes. Otherwise, these processes are very hard. There are a lot of people that, you know, see the technology as something that it doesn't go with them. And then, you know, they kind of don't want to go through that. So if you do any changes, even in the supply chain, even in your logistics processes, or anyway, any process that you want to digitalize in your companies, it's very important to have your people involved. Otherwise, the change is very difficult. Also, a lot of them, they think that they will lose their jobs because you are digitalizing the company. You have to try to find a way, you know, to put them in the center and see how these technologies can help their works, not avoiding them. The digital integration, it's hard, but, you know, in the left, we have all the digital technologies, but all these technologies can help us to do several things. And in any case, you will have an exponential impact, interrelating the physical and the virtual worlds. We can have free flows of data. We can do projects about intelligent automation and, you know, the context adaptation. It can improve the flexibility that we were talking about earlier on. We can link different domains easily, accelerate the development of new services or even new business models. And, you know, we can speed our processes. But we have to think we've said that before. We have to think about what we need to improve in our companies, and then put order and attack what we the projects that will give us more value with less investment. Well, we know the transformation can improve collaborative ecosystems, have more agile culture, and we have to, to have processes in intelligent platforms. And we can improve the operational processes, adaptive workflows, etc. We've been talking about this. Okay, big data services and data science and in industry we can have impact in sales, we can have impact in logistics, and we can have impact in manufacturing. And here you have a picture of what we can do. It's only a picture. I say again, we have to do a map in our own companies and see which of these points we want to improve before, because we can, if we focus in logistics, for example, we can do optimization of routes. We can have digital platforms to do, I don't know, delivery and last mile, but also we can plan production. We kind of do prediction of the demand. We can work about security and put blockchain in the bottom. So we can do a lot of these things. Also, if we, for example, we can want to improve our sales, we have ways to improve that, like do some kind of dynamic of prices. We can do segmentation and profiling of the users. We can generate and manage our leads. I don't know. We can do recommenders. But again, these are examples of how to use technology to improve our processes. But we have to, analyze case by case to know which or to know how to begin in all this process of digitalization of our industry, of our logistic part, or whatever. Some examples: optimization of routes. The artificial intelligence can help us to to put in the same database different sources of data about the weather, about how is the distribution of the streets in our city. I don't know, a lot of different data. We can do a data lake where we put all this data, and then with different algorithms, we can do this calculation of the best route of our actives, and recalculate if some of these variables are changing, and almost online we can change the recommendations of new routes and so on. So we have been working with this very strongly, and it's one of the things that we can do if we work in logistics. Also, using digital platforms, and here we have so many different kinds of platforms to deliver B2C or deliver B2B, to improve our processes. We can do a lot of things in here, and maybe we can find some standard platforms. Maybe because we are so small, we could need to do our own digital platform. It depends on our needs. And also one thing that we can use strongly in logistics, it's security and blockchain platforms. If we want to improve our traceability of our goods, of the whole supply chain, if our customer is asking us to have all the knowledge about all the products involved in our production, or to have valuable information about all traceability of our goods. This kind of platforms with blockchain in the bottom is one of the keys of our logistics. Some of our projects, specific projects that we've done. For example, we've worked very strong with Glovo. Glovo is a delivery platform of all kinds of goods, also meal, for example, for users, for customers in the city. And the project was advanced analytics for logistic improvement. They wanted tracking. They wanted to deliver goods with less than 30 minutes. And to do this, we had, to study all the routes in the city and do new algorithms on preparation time to ensure that we had this 30 minutes delivery from the beginning to the end of all the process. So it was also about to integrate pre-existing backend and have an average of 40% reduction in shipping time. So that was a very, very nice project. Also, we've worked in Logimatic. Logimatic is a project about how to improve logistics in a port. Doing smart port vehicle management. This is kind of a robotic project, but it has also, how to integrate autonomous vehicles and autonomous navigation in previous platforms that were working by hand. And that was a very huge project done as an European project, and with very, very, very high results. So we can work in digitalization of the processes, but also, doing new vehicles that help us to manage our own logistics, like drones in our warehouses, or even a mix of them, digital platforms with robotics, and we can do projects very, very, very extended in this kind of fields. Another project that I want to mention is that we work also with Ajuntament de Barcelona in the Authority of Transport, doing using big data and IoT data to know how the people is moving in the city. Here you have the Sagrada Familia, and this project was about knowing how many people is moving around Sagrada Familia, to know where to place, the big buses that have a lot of tourists, and improve the mobility around the Sagrada Familia, because it was a chaos. So with origin destination matrix to know the mobility. And now we are working in this kind of projects, but to improve the logistics around the city. So that's why I mentioned this project. Maybe this one specifically doesn't have really much to do with the logistics, but now we are working in this kind of data and this kind of projects to know how the vehicles with packaging is moving around the city, to try to place, little hubs, logistics hubs inside the city, and improve all this mobility. So it's another example of this kind of improvement of the logistics. And I think this is the last case study that we have on hands. It's kind of working deeply in this kind of origin destination matrix, trying to know not only the routes, but also the modes that the people is using, and also the modes of goods transport inside the city, to improve this last mile delivery in the city of Barcelona. And by my side, this is it. Thank you very much to all of you for listening me. I guess we will share this presentation, right? Is that right?
Yes, that's the idea.
So yeah, you can share the presentation to all of you. You will have some more figures if you go through the presentation. And anyway, I mean, I'm open to discuss whatever you want, and also to share more information if some of you want to go deeper to any of these things. So I will close my presentation now.
Yes, and we will move to questions and answers part. And now it's the right time to address all the questions that you do have for Laia or for Karolis, or maybe for each other. But I'm very glad that Limpra made their registration forms in a very smart way, where participants could write down the hot topics, and they could write down the questions. So both of us, we have a chance to see what's interested for people, what topics companies address. So I will just make it loud some questions that were raised by participants. But on the same time, I invite everyone to write down your question in the chat, or just to turn on your mic and camera and to ask a question directly. So first of all, Laia, how a company should start? For example, they plan to implement digital supply chain. So how should we start, to succeed? How should we set priorities to digitize? And what's top 3 aspects that they should have in mind? Yes, you do mention several times that companies' business goals are key priorities that we should have in mind, but what are other aspects we should think about?
I will talk about what we do with SMEs in Catalonia, that we, as a technological center, we help some companies, to do this transit to digitalize their own operations. We always start doing a deep analysis on how they work. How they work with any of these kind of platforms, and try to analyze deeply all the processes, not only the supply processes or logistic processes, but we try to, to have a picture of all the company, because normally the processes are not working alone. They have, changed with other processes in the company. And then we try to do, a match of how would we improve these processes, and we try to value to evaluate the money, how they cost, to do each one of the changes. But we do not think about very huge changes. We try to think about, start with little changes that give us a lot of power. We try to find those changes that are small, that they need less investment, and try to change little by little. Because if we are an SMA, if we are a small company, and we try to do big changes at once, we won't reach the change, because it will be very hard to afford the investment, but also for the people that is involved in these processes will be very hard to go in through these changes. So for us, it's very important to tell the company, let's see if we can find those processes that, with very small changes, we have a really high improvement, and we will start with them. It's hard for me to say which are them, because it depends very much about the company and how they work. So the first thing I would say is analyze really how you work, and trying to find, I don't know, with the consultants, or I'm not sure, because normally, look from someone that it's out the company. It's very good to find these, these key spots. So I would say maybe find someone who help you, to do this picture, and then you start little by little.
So step by step, that's the best methodology that could be used. Yeah. But Laia, while you were speaking, I was thinking about, when you ask company to analyze, to evaluate, to discuss, so usually there is a reply like, come on, we have to do sales, we have to manufacture, there is no time for such things to be done in our company, so usually old habits, resistance from internal users, lack of priority, probably that's like key things that kill every project, not only digital logistic, but digital project or any other project usually. So do you have any recipes how to overcome this internal resistance, how to help managers to involve their teams, how to convince their teams to find time for analysis?
Yeah, I think that the first thing is that, and that's something that we work also with the companies that are around us. The first thing, I guess, is that the direction of the company has to know a little bit what digitalization is about. Sometimes the stopper, it's the main direction, because they don't know what artificial intelligence is about. They don't know about IoT is about. So I'm not saying that that's the worst thing that can happen, but it's very important that, first of all, the directions of the companies have to know a little bit about digitalization. So they have to have the knowledge, the basic knowledge, to make decisions, because these changes have to do with the direction of the company. It has to be, I don't know how to say it. It has to be a main strength of the company. So they have to know a little bit about all these kind of technologies. So the first thing I would do for these companies is to have, this knowledge. So to have these people with I don't know, they don't have to go deep to the technology, but they have to have a little knowledge, basic knowledge about all what it has to do with all these technologies.
Let me interrupt, Laia. Probably that could be very easy things like, invite an expert on the field explain what artificial intelligence is. You know, like 1 hour dedicated to artificial intelligence, your team gets at least some knowledge, and at least, you know, you could be on the same page.
See, but I think it has to be more transversal. You don't need 1 hour to know which are the, you know, the main things about artificial intelligence if you are a high director. You don't have to go through or deeply to the technology. Yeah. You have to know why artificial intelligence can help you in, you know, doing this process. So what we do, it's, you know, more general, and not talk only about artificial intelligence. It's digitalization in global, you know, to have, you know, an overview of about how these kind of technologies can help your company, and they have to be very linked to the company. It's not a general speech of artificial intelligence. It's how the artificial intelligence can help your company. You know, and then yes. Once that direction knows how all this kind of technology can help us, then do the analysis and the projects, because you will have the direction involved in this transformation.
Mm-hmm. True. One of our participants wrote that these kind of projects, they are high cost, yep. And usually they take long period of time. And do you agree with her? Is it a myth, or is it a sad reality, or normal reality?
It depends on which kind of projects we are talking about. Yeah, I know there are some of these changes that are very high cost. That's why I'm talking that it's very important to, first of all, have the direction involved and knowing how this kind of technology can help, you know, to have a really a ROI for the company. That's the key point. Another point is start with small projects with less investment, you know, to have the company see how the company is changing, and you know, be capable to really prove the ROI of these investments. And then once you have proven that really you have ROI, then go through the big projects with a big investment. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Otherwise, it's very difficult to do this kind of changes. So yeah, I know it's not easy. It's not an easy way, but start for something, you know, or maybe you can do parts of this huge project, you know, start with one part that you can prove that really it's interesting, and then go through another part. You know the goal or the final of the huge project, but try to split the project in different parts that can, you know, that can prove that really you are going to the right direction.
So we do have a saying in Lithuania that an elephant is eaten by a piece.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat the whole elephant at once.
Yes, so because otherwise, if you put the big project on the table and you say, I need a huge investment, no, you have to try, you know, to do pieces of the project and start with those that really you will have, you know, return fast, you know, in order to prove that really you are going to the right direction. That's a key for these kind of projects.
I believe this is what we have to have in mind after this webinar and in our daily routine, because usually, you know, managers, we are quite ambitious people, I don't know, we want like everything at once and with great results. And probably that's a remark for all of us sometimes to stop, to take a little piece and to get the better result of it, first of all. Right. And I do remind our participants that you still could join this Q&A part, but while you are doing this, I do have one more question from the audience. And many of the participants, and not only ones who are with us today, but who are going to see the recording of this event, they raised the issue of qualified personnel to work with all digital projects, and including digital supply chain. Do you have any receipts how to find and train the right people to work with this kind of projects?
Okay, now we are living in a world that it's very focused in digitalize all the processes. So yeah, I'm kind of right if I say it's not easy to find this kind of people outside, because all of them are trying to, it's people that it's very, the companies are looking of all these kind of people right now. So yes, it's not quite easy to find people that really know how to do this kind of changes in a company, because they are all placed. So, they have more demand than the people that has the knowledge. So even for us as a technological center, it's quite hard to find this kind of people or to retain this talent, because they are really going around finding the best project to afford. So it's kind of hard to find these people. That's why it's so important to try to find the people inside the company that can be, teached and have this kind of knowledge. Maybe not now, but in the future. So that's why I was saying it's so important to have the direction involved in this kind of knowledge. So they have to have this knowledge somehow to know how to to do all this transformation in the people that has how to say that the ones that first get into the technology. So there's people in our organization,
pioneers.
Yeah, pioneers in the technology. So the people that is not afraid, to adopt the technology, and kind of, find inside the company who are the ones that are very easily involved in this technology, and then teach them, form and raise these people as pioneers, but also the ones that can change or kind of the ones that can pull the rest of the organization to this change. So you have to have and you don't need a lot of people, maybe once for team, but always you have one in the team that it's pioneer in using the technology, and you have to know who is these people and try to pull them to get the rest of the company pulling through all these changes.
And usually the challenge is that the ones who are willing to adapt to new technologies, usually they are not the ones who are very extroverted people, and usually they are the ones who are quite introverts. And that's another challenge for human resources and managers to create all this culture of digital transformation in the companies. Okay, I still do have two last questions for you, Laia. It's very interesting to hear your insights and your very specific recommendations. So one of the questions is supply chain is related to the third parties. It's not about us as the company. We do deal with many other third parts. So what should we have in mind to be successful involving the third parts in our supply chain? Do you have any recommendations and insights on that, please?
Here, my recommendation is to, I've talked a little bit during my presentation, but I recommend everybody to find out which is shared value companies working on. Because it's not really a methodology. It's kind of how we do things and how we involve all the third parties that are involved in our own processes, but doing it, but being everybody involved with the sustainability in mind. Why I'm saying that? Because if all together, all the value chain is involved thinking with the people and the sustainability in the center, not only our own business and money raising. It's easier to go through digitalization projects together, doing multimodal platforms, involve their own people on our projects. It's a totally different way of doing things in our company, and it's kind of putting the others in the center of our decisions also. So I recommend to read a little bit about shared value companies. What does it mean? And try to do this kind of, own assessment on how to change our way to doing things in our company to doing things better with our third parties.
That's a very good recommendation. So guys, let's not forget shared value companies that we should Google about, I believe. Yes. Okay, the last question, Laia. You as a business person, you mentioned many times return on investment. And from various perspectives, you were discussing this kind of question. But anyway, as we are business, we must make money, and social responsibility, sustainability, all other things are very important, but nevertheless, bottom line of the company is as much important as all the rest. So how to evaluate real return on investment of digital supply chain? What would you recommend on this?
This is hard. We know always it's hard to really, put in numbers how to evaluate this ROI of our investments, even it's in logistics, value chain, or whatever. as companies, is always very difficult. But let me say, as we are a technological center, and I work in a technological center. Innovation it's always a value for the companies. If I don't know exactly how to evaluate the ROI, because each project and each company, it has to be it's very particular for each company and each project. So I won't do a ROI calculation exercise in here, but because it's so difficult to do that without. With not knowing specifically the company or the project. But what I would say is our experience is innovation on the front. It's always a value for the company. Maybe not in the short time, but in the middle or large term, it's always a good investment. If we want to be more valuable for our customers and our sector, we have to always innovate, because otherwise we will be in the back of the of the market. So it's a key point and always has a ROI. That's what I would say. Our experience is that improve. It's always a value for the companies. I have an example. Maybe this one has nothing to do with logistics, but let me talk about, because for me it's the example. We start to work with Masats. It's a company from Catalonia that works with. They do doors for buses and rail and rolling stock. Okay, the door only. And they started to talk with us about doing a platform for predictive maintenance. In one time that not so many people was talking about predictive maintenance. Everybody was starting to think about, to predict the failures, to have a larger life cycle of our products, and so many things that were valuable if we were trying to start projects about predictive maintenance, and we start to talk to work in this project, and we made for them a very interesting platform that helped them to do predictive maintenance, and they gained. Even if they didn't have the platform totally closed, so the project was not in the end, but they gained 2 huge projects in Singapore. And when I say huge, they were very huge projects in Singapore, very far away from Catalonia or Spain, because they were starting to integrate these kind of platforms in their own products. And when they start this project and they start investing in this project, they didn't really know which were the ROI to this investment. So sometimes we have to take some risk when we start to integrate innovation in our processes or in our products. We have to take that risk, and sometimes we really don't know, which is really the ROI of these investments. But if we want to stay in the market, we have to take the risk.
Thank you, Laia. That was a really inspiring example. And myself, I will definitely use it with my customers to tell that sometimes, it's not about a short period of time. Sometimes you do not know what possibilities you do have in front of you. So right. Thank you, Laia, for your very energetic, practical, and interesting presentation and all answers and all examples that you share. And coming to the end of our meeting, so there is one more important thing I would like to recommend. So get a free assessment and find out how your SME can move towards Industry 5.0. Karolis and Akvilė from Limpros team, they put links in the chat. So if you did not took this the survey, so you are more than welcome to test your maturity, your digital maturity, and then Limpros and the World European Union project experts will contact you and will give you recommendations how to be better in digital things, how to innovate, how to get bigger return on investments on your daily activities. So I believe that this morning was very useful. Thank you everyone who was with us today. Thank you everyone who is watching recording of this webinar. And let's have a good day and let's meet in another events of RestartSMEs. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.